Hi, it's Stacey Abrams. There is a huge fundraising deadline coming up for Senate Democrats, and they need your help right now if they're going to need it.
Excuse me, can you talk to Zaza? I'm on my live show, Joy. Sorry about that.
Everyone is spitting on us. Little do they know we are a family, and nothing can stop us right now. Yeah,
my dear brothers and sisters, discrimination should stop. Let's come together and fight this insanity, 'cause in the end, we will win.
there is hope, there is hope. Don't despair because there is hope.
We shall overcome, we shall overcome. This phobia they have towards us.
If we come together and fight for our rights, we shall overcome. 'Cause there is hope.
My dear comrades, never give up.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to this yet another live updates show here on the Victor Mukasa show, focusing on whatever is happening. Block 13, Kakuma camp, LGBTQ refugees under attack, now dying. Please invite your friends and welcome back everybody from the funeral of baby Patricia. Invite your friends. In the meantime, I'll play this song as we wait for everybody.
Fight. Never lose faith in what you've got. Fight and fight for what belongs to you. Allah continue. They will realize we are here to stay.
We are here to stay.
And we are never going back.
No.
We're growing stronger each and every moment. Yeah, there is hope.
There is hope, there is hope. Don't despair because there is hope.
We shall overcome, we shall overcome.
This phobia they have towards us.
If we come together and fight for our rights, we shall overcome. 'Cause there
Is hope. Block 13. Greetings to you. Everybody out there, I'm saying hi. It's good to see my people power comrades, Fazil Mayanja and Patricia Namial. It's very good to see you here today. Fellow activists focusing on a different issue for all of us. And if we come together, we shall overcome, 'cause there is hope. Block 13, this part is yours. Mugume, 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 mugume. Well, thank you everybody once again for showing up. Regina Chazike, I see you on this live show, and I welcome you, especially because we all know what you're going through. For those who are on the show, and those who will be on the show, Chazike Regina is the mother of our fallen queen of the jungle, baby COVID Geneva, Patricia Namubiru. We stand and still hold you, Regina. Baby COVID was a child to all of us. She was a sister to many of us, a sibling, and a victim. At 4 months and a half plus, baby COVID was a victim of homophobia. She was a victim of transphobia, exactly what is happening against Block 13 in Kakuma camp. So you will realize that what is happening, the silence of the UNHCR when it comes to LGBTQ refugees on Kakuma camp, the misinformation by the UNHCR about the situation of LGBTQ refugees on Block 13 in Kakuma camp, the silence of many human beings across the world, organizations across the world, the lies about what is happening about a Block 13 is not only affecting LGBTQ identifying people, but it is affecting those who are associated with them. Their children, their friends, their peaceful neighbors. It is taking them to. Baby COVID was 4.5 plus months. Definitely the things that have happened to her, including being tear gassed at the directive of the UNHCR when she was 3 days old. You must realize that when she was 3 days old in April, she was tear gassed at the UNHCR of compound or grounds in Kakuma at the directive of the UNHCR. We have those videos with these people, 175 refugees being tear gassed, simply because they said, we are afraid to go back to the camp. We want your protection. The solution was to tear gas them and beat them up. And then finally, that is how they ended up at Block 13, that you all know. Now, baby COVID was 3 days old when this happened. She's been ailing with skin problems since then. Just imagine, when you talk to refugees that are in their 30s at Block 13, and we will actually ask them to tell us how they felt, when they describe the effect of that tear gas in their lives that day. To date, we have those who are still suffering with chest effects. They were gross. They were terrible, the effects on their lives. What do you expect the effect of tear gas on a 3-day-old child who has just left a safe space in her mom's womb into the world? Now, baby COVID has never been fine. She was fine before the tear gassing by the UNHCR and its friends, the police. This baby COVID, while she's sick, she's been sleeping outside in the open air of the Kakuma desert. It's a desert up there. The mosquitoes are all over. Humans are sleeping outside, as you have seen on these video shows. They're sleeping outside without blankets. And now the few blankets, we bought them when the Turkana came on the 11th of September, they took off with some of them. Baby COVID survived a lot. I would like Block 13 to send in your request, as you know. Baby COVID survived a lot. She survived that tear gas. She was on the run with the other refugees every time Sudanese homophobes attacked. Burundian homophobes attacked. Even when the Turkana people, those men, when they attacked them on the 11th, Baby COVID was there, running for her life, being whisked away for her life. She saw a lot. But why? Why? UNHCR, it is your inaction, it is the misinformation you're sending out there. Those who are silent, it is your silence around this issue. So I'll bring Block 13 online. They have a lot to say in a very short time today. They are still grieving. We still grieve with them. Many people out here are grieving with them, and thank you to all those who have worked with us. I'll invite them and speak to you about what this has done. Just a second. Yes, Gilbert, my brother, how are you?
I'm here, Victor. How are you?
I'm walking in spirit with you. There must be a lot of sadness, grieving at Block 13.
We haven't come to terms with our loss. It's still very gloomy here. The sense of loss is enormous. She was our
Yes,
flower.
Gilbert. We have people who probably do not know what we are talking about, who just joined us today. I'm giving you the platform to say whatever you wanted to communicate, but also bringing them up to speed about what is happening. I have seen that Regina Chazike is also with us live. It's over to you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Victor. Well, for those that are not yet up to speed, we buried a little girl here on Block 13. And it was on the 17th of September. She passed away on the 16th. Her name was Namubiru Patricia Geneva. But here, we fondly called her COVID. She was born when we were under attack. On the 27th of April, as we ran for our lives, she was preparing to come to this world. As we set foot on the UNHCR compound, she set foot into this world. We were overjoyed at her coming. And 3 days later, UNHCR joined in the celebrations and sprayed her with tear gas. That very night, when we were tear gassed with COVID, on the 30th of April, we all slept outside. That day it had rained so heavily. We slept outside the reception center. COVID was with us. The following morning, which was the 1st of May, UNHCR brought more tear gas, more policemen, and more batons and carried us on gunpoint. All of us, they had enough vehicles. You see, they never respond in time, but that day they were prompt. Very early in the morning, on the 1st of May, they literally carried us on gunpoint and brought us here on block 13. COVID was with us. And despite this place having very few shelters, that some were already vandalized in the attacks before our exodus to the UNHCR compound, they dumped us here fully knowing we didn't have enough shelters here. But their interest was to get rid of us, or at least they thought they had. That day, the 1st of May, we were escorted by a UNHCR official, the head of community protection. She came up to block 13 and spoke to the local or the block leadership. Once the policemen had piled us here, and she has never come back. That was the beginning of COVID's journey. And all the horrendous, the horrible, the brutal attacks that we have experienced since then, I have lost count. COVID was always with us in those attacks. Sometimes I felt for Regina. These attacks happen so suddenly. By the time you carry this child or the other child, you need to make a decision in the shortest time possible to save a life. She has had to do that. She has tried to keep her physically safe. But the conditions were too much for her. And she lost the battle. That little angel was never well. You could tell from her skin. We had gotten used to the fact that she's not fully well, but at least she's alive. Maybe after UNHCR has considered us worthy to live, maybe we'll put her in better facilities where she can get proper treatment. All these were for the future. All these were dependent on the UNHCR's decision. A decision they are adamant that they will not take. They have remained very obstinate, and the cost does not matter to them.
Gilbert, I'm sorry for
Yesterday, the world joined us.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. COVID, baby COVID. She passed on. Where was she? Was she taken to hospital, or did she wake up gone at block 13?
That on the day that COVID passed on, the mother had taken COVID for a routine immunization. To a clinic here within the camp that is run by, I think it's called African Inland Church, AIC. And we call it here Clinic 5. So when she reached but she felt that the child was not breathing well. So as she waited for the test return, she left the hospital to go and buy something. But while there, she realized that the child was actually not breathing well. So she rushed the child to Clinic 7, that is run by International Rescue Committee, IRC. Now at Clinic 7, the physician that received them worked with haste. I believe he was trying to save life. And cannulated baby COVID. And administered what we have been told was dextrose today. We have not gotten a postmortem report, despite the fact that the kid died in the hospital, but we have been given what was referred to as the doctor's observations. Now, whether these observations were made before the kid passed on or after, your guess is as good as mine. Now, the doctor administered dextrose, about 20 mils. And shortly after, our little angel passed on. Now, COVID died from Clinic 7. That's where she passed on. Because of the things that we have gone through. But survive all those things and die in a hospital. It's very painful, Victor. The people that attack us are very brutal. By the time somebody sets, on the 17th of May this year, for example, set on fire the shelter where COVID was, and other children. And she survived that. But as long as UNHCR remains silent, the odds are always going to be against us. They are stacked against us, and especially the vulnerable children. There is no way these children are going to survive in these conditions for long. So, as per the observations of the doctor, they have not told us what took our little angel. So we do not even have closure. That's the least that they could have done for Regina.
Have you heard from the UNHCR? Has Regina heard from the UNHCR? Because we saw that they released a short statement on their Facebook page about
Twitter.
it.
No, besides that, no, nothing. She has not been contacted by UNHCR. There was an attempt, I think, from, they call themselves Center for Victims of Torture, something like that. They were offering to give some sort of counseling. Then I asked
The
them,
UNHCR recognized this death. Did they show up at the funeral? Because they were
nope.
They were trying to say they're going to support this.
Yes, they recognized the death and even announced it, but they never showed up. We have not even a simple, basic, humane message of condolence. Just a simple exhibition of decency. They are silent.
We
That
are
is their
receiving.
way. That is the answer to everything.
In our advocacy efforts, we are receiving messages from various entities, including UNHCR in in some of the countries, including
Mm,
government, and
mm,
they are repeating. UNHCR Kenya has been releasing and saying they have made security better. There's patrol at Block 13. There's counseling. They have instituted desks to deal with LGBT people, treatment, medical support. Like the UNHCR has painted a picture for those that could save your lives and has told them there is no problem. It is making the rounds in documents in their responding, different entities responding to those who are crying out for block. UNHCR is still convincing them that things are better at Block 13. What do you have to say about
yes, Victor, thank you for raising that. Yes, we are extremely concerned that they take a lot of time to craft documents and paint a picture that I have sarcastically called utopia. Paint a picture of a fairy tale world, a paradise. And they have endeavored in their documents to show that Kakuma is not bad. They have endeavored to show that we are not that badly off. They have endeavored to show that actually there is no homophobia in Kakuma. There's no persecution. But in those very statements, they have also indicated that they are giving us services for people that have been victims of persecution and homophobia, But yes, thank you for raising that. The truth of the matter, Victor, is that most of the things that we have gone through can be proved.
Yeah.
If UNHCR wants to show them where the grave for COVID is, we can take them there. It's proof that we have lost a life. If they want to see X-ray pictures, we can show them. If they want to see our shelters that have been burned, if they want to see the women that have been raped, that they have kept under silence, and because they have tried to hide these crimes, most of these women that have been raped have not even got the proper services. How do you counsel a woman you're trying to hide? You know they have been raped, they come to you, but you want that case to disappear. Then now you will not give her the other services. We have people here who will just drop dead because of the trauma. Now, all these statements that they have issued, most of them contradict one another. And very soon, we'll be able to highlight the inconsistencies. We'll be able to show the actual truth.
I want to announce to everybody while they are still here that our next live show, we will actually be dealing with each of the misinformation pieces that the UNHCR has issued out there, and we will be showing you exactly what the truth is. So when we come back live one of these days, that is what we'll be discussing on. Go on, Gilbert.
Thank you. Thank you for the big announcement. I was dilly-dallying about it. All right. So, Victor, on the 11th, we were attacked by the Turkanas. And still, UNHCR released the statement. Now, this is a case in point. In their statement, they said there was tension, between Block 13 and the Turkanas. The Turkanas are not supposed to be in the camp. They have no business on Block 13. But UNHCR presented it as maybe a land dispute. You know, you're disputing about boundaries. That's the way they presented it. It's as if we are disputing for a piece of land or a garden. We have no business with them. The host community is separate from the camp. These people walk in a camp, broad daylight, wielding weapons, and wallop us, take our properties, injure a person. And you go and write that this is a tension. We implore people to be calm. What's to be calm about? This is ridiculous. So what's to be calm about, Victor? Tell you what, I'll tell you this also today. That very day, our sister Elgarida Ninshaba was hit in the head and she went bleeding. Now, for those of you that watch soccer, a head injury is the only injury that the ref will stop the game immediately because that's a very sensitive area. Now, this was a head injury. And when she was rushed to the hospital at Clinic 7 again, they ignored her from 11 up to around 3. She's bleeding all along. And they told her, if you can't wait, please go. You leave. We are tired of you sugars. They call us sugars here, LGBTQ.
Of that hospital. I'm sorry to say.
Now, this is not the most embarrassing part, Victor. The most embarrassing part is this. Now, after this incident, our sister sought assistance in another place because she needed to be helped immediately. Now, UNHCR comes days after and says you must go to Clinic 7. Guess what? They want to put out another statement and claim how they treated her. Now, that is wrong. It's gross. You are covering homophobia by pretending that Clinic 7 did treat Elgarida. You're protecting people you should be fighting. You're playing on the wrong team. You're making an impression that all is well. Why would an institution like UNHCR go to great lengths to cover homophobia? That is the only interpretation that makes sense. Now, you want us to think that they did not discriminate against her? Because they did. And for what? Because she's LGBTQ?
And that is why we
now,
have
these
been
are things
taking time to people why we had to resort to Kakuma Mission Hospital and had to stop because
exactly. That's exactly the situation that we want to avoid because most of our injuries are life-threatening. We cannot afford to have people being so lax about their service. That laxity is very deadly for us. We cannot afford that. And you have an institution that should be fighting homophobia and is doing all it can to cover it up. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
There are things that should be unacceptable as a bare minimum, at least for UNHCR. You wait, they will put it out in a report. Or we picked her from block 13, that's how many days for somebody who was bleeding from a head injury. Somebody who has a concussion. The action that you took to help cover Clinic 7 run by IRC is beneath you. We no longer believe you're capable of condemning homophobia. All indications are that UNHCR in Kenya lacks the ability, lacks the strength, or even the, let me not use that word, to fight homophobia. Victor, I'd like to go back to our little angel. Once we put together all the misinformations and the disinformations from UNHCR, we'll come back to this desperate charade that UNHCR is putting out to cover gross violations of human rights. Yesterday, as we escorted our daughter, our little angel, we were not allowed. We were not alone. We had a lot of help. And we do not want to show lack of gratitude, because down here in Kakuma, without the support of friends, allies, brothers and sisters, would be long gone. Would have perished, more would have died by now. So yesterday, as we escorted our little girl, we received a lot of support. I'll begin with individuals. A special thank you goes out to Reverend Sharon Cox. She was informed at very short notice but she was willing to stand with Block 13. Whatever programs she had to cancel, whatever cost it came at, we don't know. We never know. But we know you had activities planned, but when we came calling, you readily said yes. We are very grateful. You dignified our daughter, sent her away in dignity. And given the life that she has gone through, it's the only time that she has been accorded dignity. At least she went out with that. We thank you for your very, very inspiring and pointed and sharp and disguised words about the situation that is in Kakuma. The courage you displayed, the candor of your speech, this is what has been lacking in the advocacy that we see nowadays. People tend to want to be uncommitted in their causes. They want to keep a foot on the left and the foot on the right. You drew a line between wrong and right, and you took your side with decency, with empathy. You stood with those that need you most. We thank you, Reverend. We hope that others that are on the fence can emulate your example and display the kind of courage, the kind of honesty in assessing a death and life situation that some have rightly called a humanitarian crisis that is in Kakuma. Thank you, Reverend. I'd also like to thank the Global Interfaith Network, an organization where Sharon Cox works. Recently, they gave us a donation. And given that we have had a lot of hospital bills, still have a date actually there. This was life-saving. We are very grateful to you. Thank you so much. There have been people that have been wonderful in shedding light what is happening in Kakuma. And I can't break down all these names, but they have been fantastic. But some readily come to mind. Or Babs, or Nancy, Helen Thompson, Tash, Chauncey, Monique. Oh my goodness. You know, All these, Sally, all these people have been wonderful. Ken Medlin, oh my God, you're outstanding. Your fearless posts, you've shed light on what is happening in Kakuma. There are a lot more like you. The network is growing bigger and bigger by the day. We are indebted to you for spending your time and your resources to mention what is happening in Kakuma. The world would never have known if it wasn't for you. We thank you for believing and for acting on your belief. Thank you so much. Victor, we thank organizations, international and local, that have piqued interest, that can no longer stand and watch these gross violations of human rights, basic human rights going on, and that have come out to intervene. I cannot mention them by name, but I'll single out Philia in the UK. Although they are a feminist organization, their care and concern for the lives of all is very touching.
That's
We
feminine.
thank you, Philia. It's feminine actually. It comes
That's
naturally. We
yeah.
thank you, Philia. You've been absolutely outstanding. Not just in your faith, but in all you've done to ensure that we are protected. I'm sure if you could, you would have evacuated us.
Yeah.
Too bad UNHCR has not seen or learned from your wonderful efforts, from your humane efforts, from your respect, and for your consideration that all life is sacred. I wish they would take a leaf from the way that you view life, and especially one that is in danger. The list is long, Victor.
Yeah, we have a lot of supporters.
But we have another group that has stood with us. They have been silent because they're not in advocacy. Just like you have the most vital organs inside the body, not on display, the heart, the lungs, those are the vital organs. You can lose an eye and live, but you can't lose a heart or a liver and live, and yet they're never on the display. Our counselors, our therapists, our doctors, you've been one of the reasons we haven't had more deaths on Block 13. All UNHCR does is write that we have suicidal ideation. But you have dealt with that and we still live. What UNHCR accuses of us is what you have treated.
Yeah.
Dr. Miller, Tavi, Kesley, the list goes on. Helen, you have literally saved lives here on Block 13. We are very grateful. Your entire team is absolutely fantastic. Please don't give up, because the causes for trauma are still here. We need you. We need you. I think we need you even more now that life has started to go. My brother Victor, every time I look at you, I believe there is a God in this world. You are God sent. When you celebrated your 45th birthday, I didn't know what to say. But every word I put in that post was from my heart and reflected the sentiments of people on Block 13. We know you're more on Block 13, and for me, literally, than you are in Maryland. May you live long. May you have a very, very fruitful and abundant life. You're very, 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 very kind. Thank you so much. Thank you. And to you as well, please don't give up. Please don't. We need you. Today's live, Victor, was about thanking everybody that continues to stand with us. This does not mean that the war is won. No. The war has claimed casualties. We need to regroup. We need to believe. We cannot afford to lose faith, belief at such a time. We need more assurance. We need support around everybody, and especially Regina at this moment. We wanted you to know that we are grateful, that you've taken up the role of UNHCR and done it fantastically well. Please continue at it. If you had the jurisdiction to evacuate us, we know you'd have done that a long time ago. You have done your part well. It's UNHCR that continues to embarrass itself by pretending that Kakuma is safe. Victor, that's all we wanted to say. That at this moment, when everything seems to be falling apart, when young ones begin dropping, just like that, you wake up with a child and then the next day they drop dead. This is a time when we should increase our efforts. And one way we can do this is by participating in the protests that will happen on the 1st of October. Please, they could mean a difference that saves lives. We implore you to take part in those peaceful protests. Please don't give up. That is all we need to live. We can't give up. Don't make us give up, please. We need to keep doing this. We need to protest. We need to call out. We need to shout to remind UNHCR and those that work with them. Victor, we cannot ask for more. That is all we ask for. If you can write, please continue writing. If you can call, continue calling UNHCR. And call your governments as well, because they are also spending money on our welfare that is not being taken care of. Your taxpayers' money is not being used to do some of its job. Victor, thank you so much. That's all from us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership at Block 13. Thanks to all the other leaders at Block 13. Thank you to the people of Block 13. You showed us what love is, what unity is. You're teaching me a lot, guys. You're teaching me a lot that you are able to remain humans amidst all that dehumanizing. Working with you through the night and through all these days of COVID's departure, you are just an amazing people. And I encourage you to keep it that way, to keep that glue with you guys. And we shall keep fighting for all of you to be taken out of there, because that is the right thing for the UNHCR and the Kenyan government to do. It is the only thing that is going to save the lives of LGBT people in Kakuma camp. So I thank you. I mean, I know it's not an easy day. We've been in meetings this morning, and I could tell, Gilbert, you are exhausted. I doubt you're sleeping at all. But you still come here to speak to your supporters, to your people, with all that grief that is going on Block 13. Thank you, Gilbert, and thanks to Block 13.
Welcome.
We are Block.
Thank you, Victor.
Yes, friends, for all those who are Block 13, I thank you for being there for them. As Gilbert said, mentioned a few people, it is difficult to mention everyone. It's difficult to mention everybody who is there for Block 13. But we thank you all. I echo his gratitude, Block 13's gratitude towards all of you. I'd like to also say a special thank you to all those who are contributing financially. I know that we were supposed to present a financial report this week, but as you realize, this is the same period that we had the attack on the 11th of September, and then that was followed by the death of baby COVID, Geneva. So that was something that we could not, finalize, but it is still in the making. There are people who are beginning to re-give on the GoFundMe page, people who are giving again, and also new people that have been mobilized by Tash and others, and Philia, and those who also came to our rescue just because we lost a child. We thank you, and we encourage you to give to the GoFundMe page. We encourage you to re-give to that GoFundMe page for the sake of Block 13. See, we used to take all our patients to a different hospital where they were treated with dignity, a hospital where, they were received with dignity and treated on, if they were emergency cases, as emergency cases. Now, you heard that El Garida, who was attacked by the Turkana, who was harmed by the Turkana on the head, I went to Clinic 7, spent 3 hours waiting, and still they told her, if you're not willing to wait, you can go. And after 3 hours, she left without first aid on a head injury from the beatings of the Turkanas, which the UNHCR is saying was a mere tension. Yet these people, the Block 13, were attacked inside their home. Interesting. But we've been using a lot of money taking our people to the hospital. Baby COVID, in regular times when we had our money and a lot of our money that you have contributed, we would never have taken her back to Clinic 7 following what we have experienced there. When I say we, I mean Block 13, but we are Block 13 now. We would never. We still have other children who are sick. We have one who is hospitalized this morning, But all these children need our support. And right now, we are not able to. And there are a lot of people who have malaria and typhoid still, but they will not go to Clinic 7 because they cannot stand the dehumanization of their selves, of their lives. They cannot stand it anymore. But when we have those resources, we are able to take them to a place where, even if we are paying, they are receiving treatment with dignity. So I encourage you to continue giving there. Also, we have those who can't give via the GoFundMe page. On my Facebook page, I am running a fundraising campaign. That fundraiser is still for Block 13. We have about $555 there so far. All the figures you see on these pages, they look high, but that is money that has already come off those pages. So every piece you give is really helpful. It adds on, it helps with accountability. So it shows somewhere inside GoFundMe, you can calculate how much was taken off and when was it taken away. But that is not money that we have right now. It's money that we have been using. As it comes on, a few days later, it comes to us and it is used. And the funeral also didn't leave us with resources because it was not something that we had planned for. And yet it is something that we had to do by all means to take our baby home with dignity. Block 13, on behalf of all those that believe you, we hold you in our hearts. Regina Chazike, we are with you. We are with you. And all those who would like to get in touch with Regina Chazike, please let me know. She's very accessible. Those who might just want to comfort her, console her, give her your condolences, please get in touch with me. Regina Chazike is very reachable via Facebook and direct calls. I thank you all, and Block 13, this, as we go, is for you. It is a reminder that there is hope. As Brio Bryans and the TUK band rightly tell us or remind us, there is hope, and that hope is coming. And this song by Brio Bryans and the TUK band is for you, Block 13.
We are like a stock of society. Everyone is spinning moments. Little do they know we are a family. And nothing can stop us right now. Yeah.
My dear brothers and sisters, discrimination should stop. Let's come together and fight this insanity, cause in the end, we will win.
There is hope, there is hope. Don't despair, because there is hope. We shall overcome, we shall overcome. All if we come together and fight for our rights, we shall overcome. For there is hope. This is for you, Block 13. Thank you, Brio Bryans and the TUK band, for this music that you have made for the movement, for the liberation movement. This is also a dedication to my dear friend, my inspiration, one of those people that have inspired me in the world, Dr. Beverly Dipsy. Dr. Bev Dipsy in South Africa. This is also a dedication to you. I know that you're going through a tough time, but I hold you right here in my heart. And thank you for always supporting people that are suffering.
Yo, listen to me now, cause you know I got help. See what I do, I ain't never gonna stop. I let nobody pull me with the rope. You turn around, me down, oh, I say no. I believe in myself, I don't let myself down. Let me be me, that's who I am. I stand strong, the gun is too long. I keep moving, cause I got hope.
There is hope. There is hope. Don't despair, because there is hope. We shall overcome. We shall overcome this phobia. It's also an encouragement to all those fighting for Block 13. I know that you are fighting against a filthy, filthy system. A system that is using its privilege and place in the human rights world, humanitarian world, to spread lies about victims of torture, victims of sexual abuse. It's not easy when the world sees you as a fool when you're standing for the truth. I personally, I'm okay with that. But I believe Block 13, and I believe that one day, all those who do not believe them will believe them, because the proof is there of their suffering based on homophobia and transphobia. And UNHCR, you watch these lives, we know it. I'd like to tell you that you continuously spreading misinformation about Block 13, the situation of Block 13, misinformation about what you're doing for members of Block 13 is actually putting more blood on your hands. The blood of baby Patricia COVID is on your hands, UNHCR. You tear gassed her. You did not give her proper care. You allowed her to sleep outside in the open air in the Kakuma desert. You allowed her to witness massacre. You allowed her to see blood of her parents, of her caretakers flowing. You allowed her to feel the heat of a burning house when their houses were set on fire by Sudanese homophobes. That blood is on your hands, and the blood of any other refugee who will lose their lives at Block 13 is on your hands. People cannot be sleeping outside with animals, with wild donkeys walking all over them in the night, and you say nothing. People cannot go to hospital and are almost spat on and told, why are you gay? You should stop being gay. That is why you're falling sick. And you expect them to keep going back to that hospital. People cannot wake up every morning, and when they open their eyes, they see in a short distance their attacker who attacked them the week before. It is tough to wake up in the morning to a UNHCR statement. If I was a refugee, if you're a refugee at Block 13 who has just been attacked, to wake up in the morning and you see a UNHCR statement saying what happened was just a little, kind of tension. With the UNHCR who are supposed to protect you, dismissing your pain, your suffering. With the UNHCR that is supposed to protect you, actually hiding homophobia and transphobia. It is hard to survive. We are only seeing physical wounds. But when you speak to the therapists that are talking to Block 13, these people are injured. Some might never get back to normal. Besides the injuries that you see physically, there's injury in their hearts. God, there's injury in their minds. Each one of you, just imagine living in that desert, sleeping outside that you have seen on the live shores, sick, and you're being discriminated against even when you go to the hospital. When you go to fetch water, you can't say a word, otherwise these Sudanese are going to beat you up. That you go to the shop, the one day you have a few shillings that the shopkeeper doesn't want to sell to you because you're gay. or transgender, or because you're a child of a transgender person. That you sleep outside in the open desert, but your eye, one of them, is keeping open because the attack might happen if you sleep. That you're busy going about your day inside a teen house that is already ramshackled because of earlier attacks, and you just hear something hitting your head because the Turkana have attacked. UNHCR, for how long? Why is it that everybody can see this, but you cannot see it? Dr. Grandi in Geneva, when do you get to make a decision? When do you get to say, all right, Greg Garasi, you are saying this is not real, but I have seen it myself? Dr. Grandi in Geneva, when do you get to take a stand and save lives if your officers will not? The Kakuma office, if it's the one giving information to UNHCR Kenya, to UNHCR in Geneva, it is lying to you. Dr. Grandi, this is on you. We can't lose other people. Ready, because inside them, they hardly exist anymore. Enough is enough. We still cry out to you, UNHCR. You've made statements in response to certain people that it's the Kenyan government. But how will the Kenyan government act if you, their key partner on this issue of refugees, or protection of refugees, is telling them that Block 13 exaggerates, is telling them that you have resolved the issues in the camp, is telling them that Block 13 has refused to meet with their rapist? Because they will not meet with their rapist. They could meet their rapist if their rapist has been arrested and taken care of, and now they're humans. But you are telling them to go and meet with those who have raped them, those who have set their houses on fire, those who have beaten them up, those who have attacked them every now and then. You are telling them to go and make peace. UNHCR, that's not humanity. That is not Ubuntu. We are dealing with human beings. Dogs are treated better than Block 13. When you lie about their situation, you are killing them. Thank you very much, everybody.